Right, here we go. Back again. Alright, and today I'm going to cover our good friends at NASA. Because believe it or not, they've hooked up with Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. What a fucking surprise, right? And yeah, I'm sure it's for good reasons, right? It's to get us to the moon, of course. Oh, and Mars, right? And this is from BBC News. NASA names companies to develop moon landers for human missions, right? And this is from The Guardian. NASA picks Bezos's Blue Origin and Musk's SpaceX to build new lunar landers, right? And it says NASA has selected 3 private space companies to lead the development of lunar landers for its forthcoming moon landings. The 3 companies are Blue Origin, owned by Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk's SpaceX, and Dynetics, based in Huntsville, Alabama. NASA announced on Thursday, right? So just the other day this came out, and NASA have selected from what is probably a wide range of companies and ideas. They've narrowed it down to these 3, and they will now be in competition to see who wins. I'll put my money on SpaceX, right? It continues. The lunar landers will carry the astronauts from lunar orbit to the moon's surface and back again. Blue Origin's contract is worth $579 million. SpaceX's $135 million, and Dynetics will receive $253 million. All, of course, from NASA, who get their money from you, right? And it then says, these are 3 companies that we believe have a lot of capability that are going to enable us to get to the moon, said NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine, right? So like I said, they've picked these 3 companies and their 3 ideas out of what would probably be a wide range of companies you would imagine, right? And they've narrowed it down to these 3. And it then says, Blue Origin proposes a 3-stage lander that would abandon its landing engines on the moon's surface to lighten the load when it is time to return to Earth. SpaceX wants to use its general-purpose Starship spacecraft, which it says could also be used for Mars missions. Dynetics plan an innovative lander that could be launched on any rocket. Wow, right? So like I said, my money would be on SpaceX to win this. But it could be Dynetics, and we'll get into them again in a minute. But it then says, we've selected the best of industry's ideas to team with NASA, said Doug Lovero, Associate Administrator of NASA's Human Exploration and Operations Mission Directorate. This is really the last piece of the puzzle to go ahead and get us back to the moon. We've got all the other pieces in work already, and this is the last big piece, right? We are ready to move forward on this. Right, so this is the final step to get us to the moon and to Mars, of course. A good pal Elon wants to build a base on it. Well, I say send him first, right? And it then says the landings will be the first time astronauts have walked on the moon since the Apollo moon landings of the late 60s and early 70s. The current NASA program is known as Artemis, after Apollo's twin sister and the goddess of the moon in Greek mythology. It aims to land the first woman and the next man on the moon by 2024. This is 4 years earlier than NASA's original plan, which called for the building of a lunar space station called the Gateway. Astronauts would dock there first before transferring to a lander and taxiing to the surface. Right? They love their Greek mythology, do they? Right? It's all deception, of course. It then says, in what is widely regarded as a politically motivated directive to make the landing coincide with the end of Donald Trump's putative second term in the White House, the Vice President Mike Pence directed NASA in March 2019 to accelerate its efforts by 4 fucking years. Right? Now, just like that, Mike Pence can click his fucking fingers and NASA have chopped off 4 years. Just like that. Right? It then says, also, during the press conference, Bridenstine said that he had talked to politicians from both sides of the aisle and received broad bipartisan support for the lunar effort. But Congress needs to approve the NASA budget, which will have to increase by $3 billion in 2021 to support the lunar lander development. NASA's 2020 budget is $22.6 billion. So I'm afraid the American public, you're going to have to cough up a bit more fucking cash to see this through, right? And if I was you, don't give them a fucking penny. It then says, at least one other company, the aerospace giant Boeing, had submitted a proposal. NASA did not award it anything and declined to comment on the reasons for Boeing's exclusion at the press conference. In December, Boeing's Starliner spacecraft, designed to take NASA astronauts to the International Space Station, had to abort a test flight. Right, now I pretty much butchered that, but as you can see, the only other company was Boeing that submitted a proposal. So there was only 4 proposals, and then they picked 3. And this company, Dynetics, it's a Leidos company. It's owned by Leidos, right? And if we look into, we'll look at Leidos in a minute, but in terms of Dynetics, we'll look at who the 3 main players are in that company. And that's the 3 of them there. And Dave King, well, he's ex-NASA. All his life, NASA. Greg Lester, well, he's ex-military. All his life, American military, right? And Steve Cook, yep, you guessed it, ex-fucking NASA, right? So it's basically, this company's been set up by NASA and the government. It's NASA and the government that control this company. So it's not really private, and it's certainly not independent at all. Right? It doesn't surprise me one bit. And in terms of Leidos or Ledos, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I struggle with most of my pronunciation, so you'll have to let me off with that. But in terms of Leidos, its industry is national security, defence, healthcare, and engineering, right? So it's a mixed bag with them, but all very, very secretive stuff indeed. And if we look at the company a bit more, it actually changed its name at one point. And in 2012, it was called SAIC in an abbreviation, and it was ordered to pay $550 million to the city of New York for overbilling the city over a period of 7 years on the city time contract. In 2014, Gerard Denault, SAIC's city time program manager, and his government contact were sentenced to 20 years in prison for fraud and bribery related to that contract. So they sound great, this lot, don't they? The criminals, more fucking criminals. It then says, on September 27th, 2013, SAIC changed its name to Leidos and spun off a new and independent 4 billion government services and information technology company, which retained the Science Applications International Corporation name. Leidos is the direct successor to the original SAIC. Before the split, Leidos employed 39,600 employees and reported $11.17 billion in revenue and $525 million net income for its fiscal year ended January 31st, 2013, making it number 240 on the Fortune 500 list. Leidos reported US $5.6 billion in revenue in 2014. So they ain't short of cash, this fucking lot. And yeah, damn straight, the criminals, alright. And would you believe it? In January 2020, Leidos purchased defence contractor Dynetics, right, for approximately $1.65 billion. Ain't that a fucking surprise, right? They just bought them just in time, did they? Or did they know that this was coming? Of course, it's all deception, really. And we'd be left chasing our tails all day long, really. And yeah, the connections are there for sure. And I did also see this on Dynetics Wikipedia. Dynetics is not private anymore. 4 months ago, this edit was made on the 17th of December 2019. Now, you'd think that was quite a random date, but it ain't, right? And I have not seen much in the past about the 17th of December, if I'm honest. It does kind of ring a bell in my mind. But when I looked into it, and I'll share this article as well, a lot of fucking things have happened on the 17th of December, right? And there was one of the first flights as well, in terms of aircraft in the USA, right, with the Wright brothers. There's also US Air Force Project Blue Book, right, which was started in 1952, and that was 17th of December. US Prohibition, 1911, 17th of December. The Simpsons debut, 1987, the year I was born. 17th of December, right? And that the Simpsons debuting then is a dead giveaway that date means something, I would imagine, right? There's other stuff, it's endless actually. The China Student Rebellion, there was stuff that happened, turning points in terms of the World War II that happened on the 17th of December. 1942, World War II, mass executions of Jews. That was the 17th of December. Now, I won't get into that because my thoughts on this would see this video removed for sure. But we'll maybe get into that another time. Venezuela terrorists, 1966. Again, 17th of December. And there's actually quite a lot of terrorist attacks on that date. I did also look at that. Too many to fucking put in, if I'm honest. 1976, there's an increase in Saudi Arabia's oil prices by OPEC, right? So that that means something. 1978, USSR immigration to Israel, right? 17th of December. What a surprise. Right, excuse me. Also, 1987, South Korea Boeing 707 disappears. What a surprise, right? Again, 17th of December. Strange, isn't it? It goes on and on. 1992, the North American Free Trade Agreement. 1996, Peru hostages Japanese embassy. Right? And like I said, I will link this article in. But it goes on and on forever. And even North Korea's Kim Jong-il died on the 2011. Yep, the 17th of December. Right, so maybe not such a random fucking date after all. Right, and this is just me just vaguely touching on it, really. And this one's a dead giveaway. 2013, Germany, Merkel confirmed as Chancellor. And that's Angela Merkel, of course, who is a Illuminati puppet. Right, as I'm sure you are all aware. So that date, anything that happens there, you can be rest assured there's something behind it. And that brings me on to Madonna. Right, speaking of the Illuminati, she is, of course, another Illuminati puppet on a string. Right, and here's her in her fancy jacket there. Right, nothing to see there, of course. I'm not sure what date it was, but it was a while ago. And now she's been in the news again. Madonna claims she has antibodies and is going to breathe in the COVID-19 air. Oh, ain't that something, right? So Madonna's immune to it, right? It then says, Madonna says she has been tested and has the antibodies and will leave quarantine to go for a drive with the window rolled down. How bloody brave of her. She then says that, I took a test the other day. I found out I have the antibodies, so tomorrow I'm just going to go for a long drive in the car. I'm going to roll down the window. I'm going to roll down the window and breathe in the COVID-19 air, she said. Right? So already from this, it's pointing to, look, go out and get tested. Because after that, you're free. Right? This is what I'm getting from it. Excuse me. It then goes on to say that in this latest video, she sits in a candle-lit room and uses a typewriter to write the diary entry. She talks philosophically about being unwilling to fight with the people she is in quarantine with and the pointlessness of trying to be right or win people's favour. Right, so she's making a diary. Right, but this is the first time I've seen it all over the news. Funny that. It then says, it comes as the singer's 1994 album Bedtime Stories hit #1 in the US iTunes charts on Thursday. Madonna tweeted thanks to her fans who launched a campaign to get it to the top spot after seeing it had been reduced to $4.99. Right, still not enough for fucking me to buy it. Anyway, it then says, Madonna caused controversy last month when she posted a video of herself talking about the pandemic being the great equalizer while sitting in a bath of rose petals. She later deleted the post after receiving criticism. Right? So yeah, Madonna, definitely a bit of a fucking strange one, that's for sure. But everything she says, she's told to say, of course. And yeah, Madonna is a prime example of an Illuminati puppet, right? You can't get much clearer. And I think this is from one of the Eurovision contests. And as you can see there, she's got the eye patch, right? And the X, of course. And I did see this as well. And this is from 2019 Eurovision Song Contest in Tel Aviv. And yeah, as you can see there, with the globe in the background, as soon as I seen it, it reminded me of the COVID or the coronavirus cell and the way that's portrayed. Right, it's got similarities, as you can see. It's a bit of a stretch, but it's definitely got similarities. And yeah, so that could be linked to COVID. And they always give stuff away in these shows, of course. But it did remind me as well of Starlink, right? And how that's going to put a web around the world. So what was it possibly pointing to Starlink? Bit of a stretch as well. But like I said, they always put it in plain sight in these shows and rituals, right? And if you haven't seen Starlink, my video on Starlink that's on YouTube, I will link in that video, and you can check it out. And our good pal Elon, who's never out the fucking news anymore, it's constant, right? And like I said, I tip him to win the race, but we'll see. Time will tell. Alright, anyway, that is about it. Bye-bye.